This is Red Star Radio number 9, reporting to you live on Friday, January 24th.
Holy shit. Episode 9 already, man.
Yeah, episode 9. Just wait till we get to like episode 100 and we're making 6 figures on Patreon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
To the good days.
To the
bright future ahead.
You know, I mean, we've already grown a lot with just, we start off with just one single solitary snowball mic that we passed around between each other.
Yeah.
And now we have a semi-professional looking studio. But let's stop stroking our own dicks. Let's get straight down to it.
Yes.
So
what happened this week in the news?
This week, an old rival reappears from the shadows. Furthermore, a radical gun rights groups are meeting in the South once again. South will rise again.
South rise again.
South will rise again. China has another deadly virus.
Oh, yeah, the Wuhan virus.
Kill all of us.
Now, if you divorce your wife, is she still your sister?
Interesting question. Tune in to find out. And finally, we get to meet with the Secret Pizza Gang.
Secret Pizza Gang?
The Bernie Gang.
Oh, yeah.
We get to meet with some real bros, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. We're
all right, so
vanguard of the revolution.
Vanguard, the absolute vanguard. The mad lads and lasses of the revolution.
Mad lassies.
Mm-hmm.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi, oi. Ollie, ollie, ollie.
Ay, ay, ay.
All right, so let's just get right into it. Which one of these do you want to start off with, O'Neill?
Yeah, let's start talking about well, that gun rally was kind of a letdown, to be honest.
Yeah,
I was deep down hoping that like something would pop off, just because it would be funny to see all of these militias fighting each other.
It would have been,
and everyone was inside and locked away in their homes as they were marching.
Yeah,
so it wasn't like there was going to be any like civilian casualties or anything.
I really honestly feel as though that Antifa didn't like really put in the effort today. You know, I would have honestly expected that more of a showing from them, I guess. So I'm just slightly disappointed.
Yeah, but I mean, the Black Panthers were there. There was a little group. And
yeah, the little Black Panther. Honestly.
There was a small segment of leftists.
Yeah.
But even the leftist militias, like they're
so full.
Like the Red Guards.
Red Guard broke up.
Oh, really? The Kentucky guys or Kansas?
Yep. Redneck Revolution broke up.
Oh, really? Redneck Revolution.
Yep, they broke up. Apparently, also the SRA, the Socialist Rifle Association,
that is
rife with cops.
That is totally, that is definitely a psyop.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It feels like that Antifa wave just sort of fizzled out now. Or maybe, who knows? Well, I guess we'll have to find out that at the next Unite the Right rally.
Yeah, I guess this was technically the Unite the Right rally, but I don't know. There's not really an existential threat against the left-leaning working class yet. I mean, an overt existential threat that threatens their entire way of life, like these right-wing militias down in like West Virginia.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. But yeah, I don't know. I think the only interesting thing that was happening there was there's that one guy with the Barrett 50 cal.
Oh yeah,
that guy was pretty. He was from New York too.
Rate this kid.
That shit?
Yeah,
so he probably drove through New Jersey at some point.
Yeah, right.
You know, where we live right by the turnpike.
That's life in prison in New Jersey.
So that was pretty
interesting. Killing assault weapon.
Yeah.
Rate my EDC. So I have my cell phone, some paracord, and a 50 caliber anti-material rifle that can cut a man in half in 2 miles.
Yeah.
It weighs 80 pounds.
Yeah, dude, that was some big dick energy from that guy, though. I mean, he was just.
I heard he was a furry, though.
He was a furry?
Yeah, I heard he got kicked out of his local New York furry troop. Or local furry 151 or something.
What is it with like gun nuts and furries? Like
I don't know.
They just always seem to mesh. And Nazis.
Yeah.
Furry gun nut Nazis.
I'm gonna put it in the picture for the
In
YouTube.
post?
Yeah, in post. But I saw a couple pictures of a furry who was able to be commissioned into the Air Force with his full fursuit.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh my
just
god! They
disgusting.
even infected the army too.
I mean, the army is full of disgusting weebs. Listen, I'm going to tell you this
Yeah.
way. For every like jockey meathead in the army and basically the entire military, there's going to be like 3 and 4 weebs and at least one closeted furry. For every single person. Believe
Yeah, well,
me.
what's with the army attracting weebs? Is it some
I mean, it's just
like they're trying to make up for something they're missing, or trying to?
I actually had a long conversation about this, and yeah, it basically is. We theorize that it is basically because of we're trying to like make up for feeling like wimps.
Small dick energy.
Yeah, small dick energy. But then the problem though is that the army basically funds your small dick energy because all the money you get in the army and military in general is all spending money,
And that
which
goes
means
to
that
6-inch figures and
6-inch
fursuits.
figurines and hentai porn and
So not only furries
so you
and
can hear-
weebs, not only furries and weebs are class traders, but they are also
degenerates.
and war criminals.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, I don't know. Honestly, it was kind of disappointing. I was, especially because 3 years ago, Richmond, there was just people were getting plowed over in vehicles.
Well, yeah, in Charlottesville. Yeah, that was 3 years. Well, 3 years on August. I can't believe it's been 3 years now.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
where's the fucking revolution?
it always just seems like it's right on the horizon, but
Yeah.
it never is. So it's kind of disappointed that it didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We'll just keep striving for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and one day it'll happen, and then we'll look back and we'll be old and gray, and we'll be like, "Hey, remember when capitalism existed?"
I feel like we'll get to the point of socialism, but maybe not full communism.
if we don't, well, we'll have to get to socialism because if we don't, we're all going to die.
Oh yeah, we're gonna die anyway. So
I mean,
who cares?
inevitably, but we have to think globally.
Yeah, globally, we'll all die too.
Remember, we're all global.
Or at least in America.
Anyway, so Richmond is kind of a bust, but hopefully the next rally that we go to will be much better. I'm talking about the
Trump rally.
Trump rally in Wildwood. You can find us there. Hopefully, we'll be releasing our first actual.
in
video.
real life video. So we're going to be going down there, interviewing some rightists and maybe some anti-Trumpers, and just having a good time. We're going to get drunk and just maybe we can get press passes in there. We still haven't had them verified yet, but look forward to on a Wednesday for a special release of our first video.
Yeah, hopefully it goes well. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and so if any of our followers out there want to meet up, maybe get some beers or be on camera, maybe shoot the shit.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
Yep. Look for the person in the Jar Jar Binks mask and the other person in the balaclava.
Okay, is that what we're gonna wear?
I guess we
I
can.
just breathed into the mic.
If we want to, we can do that.
Maybe I was thinking of just tying a tie around like my forehead or something. Just
figure it
dress
out.
up like we're just drunk journalists. This is real gonzo shit.
Oh yeah, you know what?
Get some
Why don't we
amphetamines
just
in
go
us.
to Wildwood and then go into our hotel room that we booked and just do a shit ton of cocaine and not even go to the rally
Yeah, and then write about it.
and then write about it.
Oh, that would amazing journalism.
beautiful journalism. So yeah, I don't know. Check us out at Wildwood next week. Hopefully, we'll see you there.
Yeah, it'll be fun. A lot of people are going to show up. I don't know what Wildwood's police department's going to do. There's, I think, 40,000 people showing up now. The convention centers
bring in other cops,
and the convention center is on the boardwalk too.
Yeah.
So there's behind it. There's just beach. There's no way they're going to be able to secure the whole thing. But
Yeah.
whatever happens, happens.
They'll probably just bring in police from other units around them.
Or other cities. But yeah, this is the Jersey Shore. Like, other than shore towns, the nearest city is Philadelphia, and that's like an hour's drive away.
Yeah. I can imagine. I can imagine them calling up the Philly police and being like, "Hey, listen, we need your help."
Maybe. I mean, state police definitely, but I don't. are there going to be riot cops there? Like, they're going to have riot cops.
Hey, remember when they had those bike cops try and stop us?
Yeah, but like the bike cops are all adjuncts or auxiliary cops. They only show up during the summer.
Yeah, that is fair. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to find out then.
Yep. Tune in on I guess Wednesday, because I'm gonna finish the video by then.
Yeah.
We'll have it up Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Wednesday at 8 p.m.
What else though? Hillary Clinton, right? That's the other big news now. Oh yeah, actually let's continue with Jersey though. Jersey news.
Yeah, what's going on with Jersey?
Well, this week we met with the VP of New Jersey for Bernie. So we've been integrating ourselves into the Bernie Sanders campaign.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna go out canvassing for at least the Bernie Jersey side of things. And Jersey's really interesting with our election. Just how much it can be rigged and how much of it is decided by the county clerks and county officials, which is what we're actually going to be canvassing for, is county officials. And we're going to run Larry Ham, senator and black socialist.
Honestly, Larry Ham is just the punk rock version of Cory Booker. Let's be honest.
No, he's
the cool version of Cory Booker. All right.
He's just him and Cory Booker are nothing alike. Like Amira Baraka.
I don't know. They're both from Newark and they're both black. So I mean, but Larry Ham is just cool.
Because he's a socialist and he's friends with
and he works in
Amira Baraka.
Yeah, and he worked in the streets, whereas Cory Booker hangs out with people like the works of Chris Christie and Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the $100 million donation that Mark Zuckerberg gave to Newark school districts, which all ended up being wasted on bullshit?
Oh yeah, but Cory Booker has an apartment in by the train station, so apparently that means he's working class, even though he grew up in like Alpine or something.
Yeah,
he grew up in like Alpine. Like,
exactly.
Shut the fuck up, Cory Booker.
Yeah, but basically,
Amira Baraka, though, a funny story about him. He used to be he was the second poet laureate of New Jersey.
Oh, really?
But he got kicked off by legislature that disbanded the position because he started writing anti-capitalist poems about racism and how white people suck. So he's got some balls in there, and Larry Ham is one of his associates. I think Larry was actually he's involved with Workers' World a lot. Yeah,
he is, which that's the only thing I have against him.
I mean, you could have the sectarianism, but I mean, it's good
I would rather support a Workers' World candidate than just another
Chris Christie.
Yeah,
100%. You got to take it where you can get it. Yeah. I mean, having a sectarianism, like we're not going to get Maoists on the New Jersey Senate.
Honestly, I don't want Maoists in the New Jersey Senate.
Yeah,
because
Maoists in Kansas. Look at me.
Yeah, well, like, what are you gonna do? Like, fucking have a permanent revolution? That shit doesn't work.
Your protracted people's war is. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Take over the local Kentucky Fried Chicken and hold out there? Like,
hide out in the mountains? No, it's not gonna happen. The conditions there are completely different from what we're in China. I can admire
their tactical goals are going to be to take over every Krispy Kreme and Sheetz and every Kentucky Fried Chicken and distribute it out to the people, and then we'll have our socialism.
We'll have our socialism. No, but so the reason we're campaigning for Larry Ham, though, is because of the way that New Jersey ballots are set up. If you don't have co-runners with you in the ballots, you basically get pushed all the way to the end of the ballot, and then nobody votes for you. So in order to get Bernie Sanders on the ballot, we have to get local New Jersey candidates also on the ballot. That's the simplified version of it.
And then if we don't run candidates and county freeholders with Bernie Sanders,
count all at the local level.
The Democratic Party will rig it and put all of the county freeholders and representatives on Biden's ticket, and then Biden will get the first column. So in New Jersey, it's set up like columns. You have like A through H, and Biden would be on column A, the first one people see. And if you vote straight line Democrat, which a lot of people do, they pick the one with the most candidates, the most representatives, and the one that looks the most legit. So what we're trying to do now is get Bernie Sanders to look like a legitimate candidate in New Jersey. He is, but we're trying to get him on the ticket properly. Because New Jersey, it's rigged, just like everything else.
And this is what actually cost Bernie the 2016 election, because New Jersey was what gave Hillary Clinton the actual the majority of the primary votes.
Yeah.
And that's what let her win a primary. And the reason that she won New Jersey was because the Bernie campaign didn't wasn't coordinated or understand New Jersey ballot laws, because New Jersey is the only state that does this. The national campaign screwed over the local campaign.
Yeah, and because the campaign was so centralized, they didn't listen to any of the local campaigners who said this is the most important moment of Bernie's campaign, because New Jersey is last in the primaries. So it's either all or nothing with New Jersey. Either you've won it by Iowa, or New Jersey gives you what you need to get the ticket.
Exactly. If it's a straight race, New Jersey is basically one of the last big number of big vote states that you need. It's one of those like sort of swing states. So but this time at least it looks as though, even though the national campaign might still have their head up their ass a little bit, like most national campaigns, at the local level though, that we've learned to adapt to those conditions.
I feel good about having Larry Hamm as the Senate candidate, because not only does that give us the ticket, but also just the nature of Newark and Paterson in general for the past 4 years has become so much more radicalized than it was before.
Yeah.
Every day there's marches for immigration. Every day there's marches against the police. At the red carpet, the VMAs, all of Newark was out protesting the governor. They had to have riot cops keep the protesters out because Newark doesn't have clean water.
Yeah.
So having Larry Hamm, a integral part of the Newark community. He's been a Newark activist for his entire life.
Basically the last 30
forgoing
years.
Politics to be a local activist and stay true to his roots.
And not only that, the best part I like about him is that he's from Newark, grew up there, went to Princeton, right? Went to Princeton, graduated from Princeton, went straight back into Newark, and has basically worked street campaigns for his entire career.
He's worked to elevate Newark's social condition for his entire life.
That is the success story, right? You succeed, you come back, and you help uplift other people out of the same poverty.
I can't wait to meet this man. But to talk about it pragmatically, we have the Newark vote. And in some Senate elections for the Senate, not the House, some senators won like 19 counties, but they lost Hudson County and Paterson. It was Hudson and Essex. Yeah. And they lost the vote because Hudson and Essex has like a quarter of New Jersey's population in it.
Yeah.
So it's integral that we get these working class votes if we're going to talk about it pragmatically.
So really excited to work for it. And honestly, this is the sort of politics that really gets me excited, Well,
it's politics that matter is the local level.
Exactly. But this is the sort of local politics that every state has, but we never hear about this on the mainstream news because it's just not, unless you're from New Jersey, most of the things and the places and the names that we just stated don't matter to you.
But it matters now to the country, though, because New Jersey is such an important state in the Democratic primary.
And they all add up. Every single state adds up to contribute together. And I think
not only that, every single vote and every single person that's more aware of the campaign and more aware of just socialism in general, that elevates our revolution even further.
Exactly. So I'm super excited to keep working for the Bernie campaign, though. But like I was saying, though, going back to a bit earlier, at least at the local level now, the New Jersey for Bernie campaign seems to have their shit sorted out.
Sort of the way the VP. But that, I don't want to get too much into party politics, but I feel like we're going to delegate it more on the New Jersey level rather than have the centralized Bernie campaign delegated, because it's still a presidential campaign and it's still run like shit, just like every other campaign. So we have to take the reins, and for New Jersey at least.
I'm just honestly, I'm amazed that people, who are in their 50s and their 60s who have been campaigning for decades still don't understand the idea of delegating. That's such a no-brainer idea. Just we are.
I mean, they have their own bosses too.
Yeah, but just hey, tell me what to do. I'll take care of it. So
that
you
gets
don't have to
fired.
do it yourself.
It's either you work within the system or you rebel against it.
It's not even rebelling. It's just inefficient because when your boss is breathing down your neck and doesn't trust you to do things, the system won't run as efficiently as if they just give you the basic modicum of respect for your job and let you do your job. You know, I experienced this, you know, when I was in the military, and I experienced this, you know, today working as a teacher, is that your bosses will just breathe down your neck nonstop. And it's like, listen, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Tell me, what do you want me to do? I'll take care of it.
Are you telling me this, or are you telling our listeners? Because I deal with this every single time I'm on set.
I know. You deal with that too.
And it's ridiculous.
But it's like, how do they just not realize this? You know, and it's shocking to me that, you know, this is a basic skill that people still don't seem to understand.
Well, it's proper management, because it's that power, it's the ego of power that we have under our current system, just in our current cultural way of life. You know? Yeah, can you toss me another beer? You pour yourself another one too.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just amazing.
And not even that. People are given these roles and they don't necessarily have the experience, but they don't want to admit that they don't have the experience, because with the position of power comes a position of privilege.
Pain.
So these people who are given power, or at least positions of management, a lot of times I notice, especially on set, is they realize they don't have the experience or the aptitude for these positions, but at the same time, they don't want to give up these positions because they're a position of privilege. So they delegate as hard as they can and only within their means, but it just brings everyone else down, because even if there's more people with more aptitude below them, no one's ever given a chance to achieve that level, because you have these incapable managers always trying to hide the fact that they're a fraud, basically. Okay. It's an imposter complex.
So how do they try to hide it, though? How do they try to hide it? Do they are they overbearing, or are
it could be in a multitude of ways. They could be overbearing. They could be very lackadaisical about their job and just let anything go. They could just be totally incompetent, but not want to delegate. Other than that, so even these high people in higher ups in campaigns, like national campaigns, they've been doing it for years, or they were put in that position by their friends, or they have they have a higher economic means of achieving that position. So someone maybe who graduated from Yale, and we know Harvard and Ivy League graduates like Pete Buttigieg. I mean, as incompetent as they can be, they're given these privileged positions because they come from a privileged background.
Or they graduated from New York Film School or whatever.
Oh, yeah, they graduated from NYFA, but they send me a check in their 5-year-old homework that's wrapped up. I literally got my last check handwritten, and the pay stub, it wasn't a real pay stub. It was just some scrap printer paper from 5 years ago. And I'm just like... And this was a movie that has one of the most well-known directors from Hong Kong in it. And I'm just, okay.
Yeah,
whatever. I got paid.
I think
SNL still owes me like $800 too. It's just these people are given these positions that are absolutely incompetent, but they relish in this privileged position.
I think
they don't want to accept their imposter complex.
With those is that there's no advisor role for them. You know, the one I shit on the military a lot, and I hated my time in the military, but the one thing I did like was that our lieutenant every officer would have an equal enlisted person who has been in for at least 10 years longer than them, a sergeant who would act in an advisory role for them. So I think the film industry could learn from that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So, for example, like a film major could, like the director or whatever position would be like, hey, that's not charging, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah, it is.
It could be like, I want this done. I want this film set being set by this time. And then I feel like there should be a new role called like the film director, or not, the film advisor would be like, listen, that's not possible because this, and this, our cameras are this old, our rigs are this old, and people are not
that's called a producer, but most producers watch YouTube videos about cameras and just say, oh, well, that's a good one, because I just assume they don't have any practical experience. Because once again, it's almost like a cast. like your key grip knows more about your camera system and how to operate a set than your unit production manager or just your producer in general. And then the whole set just falls apart because these people, they accept their roles without accepting responsibility.
Yes.
I feel. Because they're given these positions, they attribute that to themselves, and then they project their ineptitude onto the rest of the set.
Yes.
Saying, my idea is law. My idea is the proper way to go about it because I have the degree. But you don't actually have the
practical
world
knowledge.
Yeah, the practical knowledge
The
or experience.
Yeah.
And that's what happens a lot of times. That's just the basic, like, I guess, theory of managerial practice, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
I mean,
it's
from the
bad,
military
it's just bad leadership.
to campaigns, it's these positions that are not delegated to the rest of the workers. That's why you need unions. If the entire film industry was under one union, you would have these advisory roles.
Yeah,
you would have people with experience in higher roles. You wouldn't have some douchebag 22-year-old running a set that he doesn't know how to run.
Exactly.
Just because his parents gave him a trust fund and he went to AFI. And he had a good student film. He doesn't know how to run a set because film is a product. First and foremost, it's a product, and then workers.
It's a team effort to make that.
Well,
product.
yes, it is a team effort too. And the product that the workers sell is their labor. The grips sell their labor and their expertise. The PA sell their labor to drive the trucks, and it's always trying to reach the bottom line. You know,
Yep.
Always trying to reach the most efficient way possible. But then the people who are delegating this don't have the experience because they themselves weren't delegated.
Yeah, and I think this isn't just one industry that has that problem. I think this is every industry.
Every industry under capitalism.
Where people, and this simple reason is that people don't want to fuck up, right? Because if you fuck up, you lose that upward mobility. So people will just iron grip everyone else because they don't trust people. You know, and especially in the film industry where it's all just a gig economy, there's no set teams anymore. It's not like back in the 60s and 70s where like you would have crews that would work together on every film every single time, and where companies that would work together like that. Nowadays it's just like you said, it's
I mean
random people.
You can have that, but now it's always an economic matter. You don't trust the crew, you trust the rate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you trust the rate, these producers, they're just trying to meet a bottom line. And that can scale up to any kind of industry because it all comes down to, like I just said, the money behind it. So if like you trust the crew and you trust these workers, you'll hire them again, but only for a certain rate. Even though their expertise is going towards multi-million-dollar films, you only hire them for the rate that they will work.
Yeah.
It's not these unified crews. Like even the unions are capitulating to just to the individuals. Like most people just work under aliases now as scabs. Like the Camera 600. People work under aliases all the time. It's like a given. The Camera 600 is just a guild that gives you jobs. And all these people that work as under aliases on these jobs that hire different rates or don't want to pay the union rate, all these people are fucking scabs because they're lowering the bottom line for the rest of the people in the industry. And all of this is just a privileged position because you only hire your friends, because you only work with your friends. And so you think of this product as some like insular little group that's producing these things, but it's a team effort. And every film looks the same nowadays. There's not much aesthetic effort in the setting up lights. Like your gaffer is going to set up lights to the DP, and the DP is going to do what the director says.
What's the DP?
Director of photography.
Okay.
But it's all the same practical knowledge, and you hire these people based off how cheaply they'll work or how much you know them. You know, it's all based on connections or all based on personal personal connections.
Personal connections.
You know?
Personal know-how.
Yeah, personal know-how. Just like in campaigns, there's no delegation on who's the most professional. You only hire people or you only work with people that you know. So like say you worked on the Hillary campaign 4 years ago. You're only going to hire the people you already worked with and just say, oh, well, we'll make up our mistakes.
Yep.
Because
or if
there's no industry
just
standard.
Blind nepotism. I'm not going to name names, but when I was working back in when I was just a young, bright-eyed liberal Democrat, still hardcore Democrat, not even a communist or a socialist yet. I haven't even discovered a socialist alternative yet. I remember working for the Cory Booker campaign when he was running for state senator, and when he was first elected from state senator, when he was still the mayor of Newark, we had this little shitbag who I don't know how he got. At first, I didn't know how he could possibly have gotten in a position of power, but he was basically put in charge of me. Turns out he was the son of a state senator. I'm not gonna name names, but basically I called him a piece of shit who didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Is that the guy who called you a communist rat?
No, not him.
Oh.
That's a different guy who called me a communist rat. Basically, I just called him out. I was like, "You're fucking worthless. The only reason you're here is because of your daddy, and you're fucking trash. Fuck off." And that's how I basically got kicked off of the Cory Booker campaign after basically phone banking and organizing, canvassing and all that bullshit for them.
God forbid you have some organization that works for the worker instead of just producers or higher ups that work for their cousins.
Or just, someone who's just working for a paycheck,
Yeah, someone should come up with something that helps out with that.
Yeah.
Maybe we could call it like a joint workers council or a union of workers.
A union of workers. Ooh,
dude, this is a great idea.
You know what? Let's have it so that every single person registers for a union.
Law. We should mandate a law that says every industry has to be unionized.
Every industry has to be unionized.
And there has to be a union for that
all
industry
the
that delegates the unions. A union of unions.
All the unions. So that way, if the film or the film union goes on strike, the restaurant union also goes on strike.
Yes, we shut down
and the
everything.
bus union also goes on strike.
Just the general union,
maybe
like
janitor union also goes on
like
strike.
a house of unions or a union party.
Yeah,
actually, political party
it
for
used to
unions.
be like that. It actually used to be like that in Jersey. If for example, the Garden State train system went on strike, the porter system and the taxi union and all the other unions, the restaurant union would also go on strike.
Well, like in France now with the CGT, you have the bus and the farmers going on strike, and now you have the workers at a nuclear power plant threatening to shut down the power plant.
Yeah.
And you have power plant workers shutting down power specifically only to cops. It's amazing.
Well, it's why lawmakers back in the 30s and 40s made that illegal.
Yeah,
actually. So, which is, fucking bullshit.
Why Reagan and Thatcher were the thing.
Yeah. Ding dong, the witch is dead. All right. But yeah, I mean.
Thatcher's grave is a public urinal.
God, yes. # pee on Thatcher. Pissy Thatcher. But yeah, hopefully the New Jersey campaign, I love that one quote that the VP guy said. He said that even though New Jersey for Bernie, the national campaign, suffers from the same exact issues that every single national campaign has, the reason that things still work.
Every industry and worker deals with.
The reason that that the local level still works so well and the campaign is still going so well compared to all other campaigns is because the campaigners, the actual people at the boots on the ground workers, are 10 times more enthusiastic than any other campaign.
Well, because we believe in this revolution. Whether or not we believe in Bernie, we believe in the socialist revolution.
We believe, you might not believe in him, or you might not even be a supporter of him, but, everybody still believes in the message of what he's doing.
Well, and that's what we're fighting for. We're not fighting for Bernie. We're fighting for the message.
Yeah, the revolution starts with us.
Which is why a lot of people have been dissing Bernie now, or at least a couple people in some certain groups, for accepting the endorsement from Joe Rogan. I don't know who the fuck is Joe Rogan.
I don't know. Does he sounds like, is he like a radio host or something?
I think
he's
from Chapo Crap House or
Chapo
Crap Shoot.
The Chapo Crap House.
Chapo Crap Shoot. Joe Rogan Chapo.
Joe Rogan Chapo.
Or Joe Chapo Rogan, right? I think that's it.
I don't know.
Apparently he's like a transphobe or something. So people are now saying that Bernie's campaign exhibits those characteristics from his endorsements.
No, it's not like Bernie went up to him and asked for an endorsement.
Yeah, everyone was. Because just like the New York Times, he has I feel like 4 million followers or like a lot of followers.
Yeah.
I feel like he's someone really famous.
Well, I
don't know who he is.
You know what? It was really interesting. After Joe Rogan endorsed Bernie, I was phone banking in Iowa or to Iowa, and people were saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna vote for Bernie because I heard about him on Joe Rogan."
Really?
Yeah.
Did you personally? You heard that?
Yep. I was like, "Hey, I'm with the Bernie Sanders campaign." They're like, "Oh, I heard about him on Joe Rogan."
Really? And people didn't know about Bernie before that?
No, you'd actually be surprised at how few people really know about. Because listen, you and I, O'Neill, we're like the outliers. First of all, we're heavily involved in politics and have our finger on the pulse of politics.
Mm-hmm.
Second off, we're actually creating political content, which is like the 1% of the 1% of people who actually are involved in politics.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
most people don't actually follow the news. Most people have no idea where Iran is. They just, or most people don't even follow the impeachment, right? They just know that Trump is being impeached. I think the New York Times or whoever group recently did a survey of like asking Americans to point out where Iran even is on the map.
I think RT did that.
Yeah, and only like 20%, 25% of people could actually point it out. Half of them pointed to America.
Yeah, they pointed like Delaware.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish we would bomb Delaware.
God,
bomb New Jersey too.
Bomb New Jersey.
Bomb New Jersey. Bomb New Jersey.
I would get down on my knees and serve the Japanese
till I recover sushi. But please, bomb New Jersey. I would happily kowtow to my new leader, Chairman Mao. I would even learn Chinese. Just please, bomb New Jersey. Bomb New Jersey. Bomb New Jersey. I would go tell Jong Il Kim that they're making fun of him in a kimchi-hating town that's known as New Jersey. Better yet, I've got a plan. I will convince Pakistan that India can be found.
If you're busy with work and bullshit, you're not going to be keeping track of politics. You're going to be too busy focusing on surviving day to day and taking care of yourself. Or if you're rich, you don't care about politics because it doesn't affect you.
And you're handed these managerial or higher up positions too.
Exactly. That's why, like, I hate people who say, like, "Oh, I don't care about politics." But no, that is a political stance.
I'm apolitical.
Yeah, that is a political stance.
It means you benefit from the current conditions.
Yeah,
and
I'm
you're
okay with the current
active
conditions.
in creating them and enabling them.
Yep, exactly.
And you don't bother to not benefit because it directly creates your current lived conditions.
Directly or even passively, to the point where you just don't even notice it. It just becomes the norm that you benefit from it.
Yeah. They don't care because they don't have to care.
Yeah. So hopefully, the Bernie Sanders campaign, the one thing, it has the most enthusiastic workers, right? And I think that with Joe Rogan's sponsorship, he could have sponsored Yang because he had Yang on his podcast as well, but he chose Bernie.
But and Yang's the popular, douche.
He's the technocrat,
techno Bitcoin guy kind of guy. He's Mr. Bitcoin, transhumanism, robotic arm, $1,000.
He is the manifestation of transhumanism. So
Mr. Yang is where's my robot dick?
Yeah, he did the math.
I do the
math points to Bernie, unfortunately. Yang, honestly, I like Yang. I think that Yang's ideas are like 20 years ahead of his time, though. Like, first of all, the fact that, $1,000 a month, that idea, it makes sense.
Well,
because this is what most Europeans do.
Yeah, and the idea of even just mobilizing the working class to be ready for full automation is a huge step ahead of like liberal democracy that we have now.
Yeah. The problem, though, is that, first of all, that automation is, when it's controlled in the way in America, is controlled by a small group of rich people. That automation is only going to benefit them because the profits and the wealth created through that automation goes straight up to them and not being redistributed throughout the working class. Which, so Yang's
but
policies,
he still has some class consciousness to him.
Yes, he absolutely
which
does.
Is incredible for someone running for president.
Yes, he absolutely does. Problem, though, is that his policies won't work in a system where wealth flows upwards from the top.
Yeah, exactly. But he has this class consciousness, but he doesn't realize the full encapsulating nature of capitalism.
Yeah, and that makes sense because after all, his family is from Taiwan, so he's not going to be a communist. He's not even a socialist. At the very least, Bernie at least says he's a democratic socialist. But Yang is just a straight up capitalist.
He also was marching with Martin Luther King Jr. and
that he did.
promoting. I think he promoted Malcolm X. He promoted the message though of civil rights from when he was 20 years old.
Yeah, but the main issue with Yang is that his campaign runs under the assumption that capitalism can be cruelty free and can have
capitalism
a heart.
can be reformed to our current
it can never be reformed, which is why
No, it's a plight. It's a disease.
exactly. It's not even a disease because let's be honest.
Now it is.
Capitalism was useful. It was a necessary step in human development, which is, I will admit, capitalism was necessary at a certain stage in human development. Just like feudalism was necessary at a certain point.
Yes, this is basic.
This is basically theory.
Even socialism. Socialism doesn't mean that everyone gets paid the same. It means that everyone gets paid what's due to them.
Yeah, exactly. So, Yang's assumption would work under socialism, where the workers would own all the means of production and the means of making stuff and the generating of wealth,
And value.
creation of wealth and value. But it won't work under capitalism because the capitalists are never going to just allow you to have money. Free money. That's not how it works under capitalism.
Yeah.
Unless you're rich, in which case, yes, you do get free
Well,
money.
I mean, we could legislate that. That still doesn't mean that they won't cut wages or increase the cost of living, and that doesn't even address the issue of inflation,
No, it doesn't.
which is just like natural tax. It's like your original sin.
Yeah.
Catholicism.
Yeah.
It's like, 40 years ago, your dollar was worth this much. Well, guess what? Now candy bar costs $10.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I still remember when the 75-cent sodas when we were kids.
Oh, dude, I remember when McDonald's still had $1 cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
that was
dollar
4 years
cheeseburgers.
ago.
No, yeah.
Oh, and what else? I remember when candy bars were 50 cents.
Yeah,
and
50-cent candy bars.
I went to the store yesterday. A loaf of bread cost $5 at Wawa.
That's insane.
Yeah, I remember when it cost $2.
Yeah.
It was when I was like 20 or 18 years old.
Yeah.
Even when I was younger, like $5 would get you so much. $5 would get you like 4 slices of pizza and a soda.
And a soda, yeah. Although I also partially wonder if that's just us looking back looking back at our halcyon days.
No, it's inflation too.
Yeah,
Remember when
but,
gas was
we
$1,
always look back with
25.
Well, that was just straight up just a tax increase. Remember, because with that, yeah.
Well, no,
gas used to be super cheap, and
not
then we
even
had
that.
the,
It is
the
really
gas
cheap now, too,
the gas
today,
tax
too.
hike, which was
Even
supposed
cars.
to
I
improve
remember
our
when a new
roads.
car cost $20,000. Now it's like 28.
Yeah.
Everything's gone up like 30% in the past 10 years.
Well, 2008, the economic crash happened.
Yeah, and that's when China started reforming their economy away from Dengism and actually addressing their contradictions.
Yeah, well, that's things that they're hoping to fix with their 13th 5-year plan. The
How do you say it? Shu Sang Wu. Shu Sa Wu.
Speaking of which, Happy Chinese New Year's, Matt.
Happy Chinese New Year, Lee.
Speaking of which, Happy Chinese New Year's, O'Neill.
Happy Chinese New Year, Lee.
As in my culture, we would say, 恭喜发财,
恭喜发财,
万事如意,新年快乐. Or, yeah, good enough.
We got to put all of your grandpa's medallions and buttons in the header photo.
Perfect.
And,
yes.
make sure everyone knows that he was killing Americans in Korea.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We got to let them know.
You're not a real Maoist until one of your family members was killing Americans.
And at least one American war.
Yeah. That's the entry to communism. You have to kill at least one American.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you say you're a communist? How many Americans have you killed?
Yeah. How many slashes are on your grandpa's bandana?
All right, but so yeah, let's see. What else do we need to cover? Let's see. We talked about Jersey, right? So that's basically
we
all.
can talk about the Wuhan virus.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
China.
around
That's right.
China.
Went back to China. So the coronavirus. I think that's such a funny name.
Yeah, the
coronavirus. Because
coronavirus.
I just think about beers.
Yeah, you think about Corona, and then the marketing campaign manager of Corona is just like, what the fuck? What was that? Coronavirus?
The coronavirus. Just put
Holy
some limes
shit.
on it.
Yeah, throw some lime on the coronavirus, or build a hospital in 5 days and house everyone that's quarantined.
No, but
Just something China can do.
well, they are quarantining it.
Yeah,
So right now
they're building an entire hospital in 6 days. Have you seen the photos from it?
I haven't seen that yet.
300 bulldozers all amassed, and they have convoys, like military convoys of construction equipment and doctors, and they're busing in doctors from all over China to address this this plague, even though it's already less viral and less deadly than the common flu.
Here's the thing, though. The reason, so they basically said that the number of reported incidents of being exposed to the virus jumped up from like 400 to a couple thousand, right, overnight. But that really is just because more people were aware of it and were reporting it. And the fact that, 26 people have died, sure, yeah. That is important.
80,000 have died last year from the regular flu in America.
Exactly. Compared to the number of people that have died from what's that disease that makes you bleed out of your eyes in Africa?
Ebola.
Yeah, compared to Ebola in Africa, or even just measles. Measles in America kills over 1,000 people every year. 26 people in all of China of 1.6 billion people is tiny amount.
Out of a city of like 11 million people. Like this is in
Wuhan.
New York. Think about how many people died from the common flu. Think about how many homeless people died from freezing to death on the street.
Yeah, exactly. So I think overall, though, China's doing pretty well with
New York
it.
than have been exposed to the new SARS virus, because that's what it really is. It's just a new SARS virus.
Yeah.
In China.
Yep.
It's just incredible, like how low the numbers are, and how much propaganda is being spewed against China for this virus.
Yeah. So I think overall, though, it's China's ability to react through these, to these crises is going to be much more efficient than America's, because right now America just had their first incidences of the coronavirus in, I think, Oregon and Texas.
And I think Chicago.
And Chicago maybe as well.
Good fuck Chicago.
Hey, excuse you.
There's only like 2 people in the Midwest, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
From the Midwest.
Yeah, I am the king of Chicago.
You're the only other person from Chicago.
Yeah,
The other one works in New York as a key PA. No one's in Chicago right now.
So I think that their reaction to the coronavirus is actually pretty good compared to most other countries.
Well, it's incredible how fast they can just manage the resources and pool them together. I mean, in America, it takes 6 months just to get your road plowed or your pothole filled, or more than that. I mean, there's potholes in my neighborhood that haven't been filled for 10 years.
Yep.
And China's way to address this is to quarantine the whole city. They have enough resources to do that, and to control the outflow during one of the highest, or the absolute largest migration of people in the world, because hundreds and hundreds of millions of people are flocking to the countryside for Chinese New Year now.
Yeah. So, not just hundreds and hundreds. Really, the idea is that most people in China go to the south to work, because that's where all the jobs are. So you've got all these people from the north and the south. Yeah, from the north and the countryside, go down to the south and the ocean for work. And every year, it's the largest human migration every year. And it's the Chinese Lunar New Year, which they all go back up north. So yeah, a lot of the cities have had
5 times as large as the entire West for Christmas.
Yeah. So a lot of the cities now are being quarantined that have had incidences of coronavirus. So obviously, it's just kind of sickening that, first of all, this is a new virus. People are dying. And all the Western media is doing is trying to turn this into a propaganda piece against the Chinese government. Like, I was on the Hong Kong subreddit, and people were already like making posts and pictures about, I was in the Hong Kong airport and I saw this man with a mask on and like a fever wrapped up in a blanket, and he's clearly being planted by the Chinese government to try and spread the coronavirus to Hong Kong. Just bullshit like that, which is incredible. Like, it's just mind-numbing and mind-blowing to even think about the fact that the moment you hear a tragedy happens, but because it's in China, we have to somehow turn it into a propaganda piece against the Chinese government, which obviously always leads back to socialism bad, unless we point out the good benefits of China, in which case, China's actually a capitalist nation.
Exactly. So what we're seeing here with the coronavirus is just China's ability and the absolute power to pool resources together from a centralized economy. And as un-Marxist as they are, or as unsocialist as people say, quote unquote, their current conditions now and the way their economy and their just nation is set up, they're able to pull in doctors from like Guangdong or Chengdu, which is thousands and thousands of miles away from Wuhan. So just the absolute ability to do that and to build a hospital in 6 days, you see the way they're developing their nation, and they're developing their nation to be able to address these kinds of things.
A flexible economy.
Yeah, it's absolutely flexible. And with the centralized economy, you're able to pull doctors from the other side, literally the other side of the country, to address epidemic in on the absolute other side. Imagine pulling doctors from Chicago to LA for an outbreak like this in Los Angeles. That would never happen. We already know that wouldn't happen because of the homeless crisis and the way we address that. It's absolutely insignificant to our current our current government's
Goals.
prerogative, our goals and their prerogative to address anything, even like this, to address disease or outbreaks. I mean, there was a hepatitis outbreak where thousands of people were infected in Los Angeles, and no one batted an eye. And yet we see this development of a socialist economy and a socialist government and a socialist country, and their ability to pull resources together like this. It's just the development of China's economy towards that goal, and the way they're developing is incredible.
Yeah. And I think that this is just going to further showcase China's ability and dominance in the global affairs.
Yeah, they're leveraging themselves as now a global hegemony, not even a regional superpower, but a global superpower. And all of the L's that come with that, with being a global superpower in the current day and age, you have to treat yourself like a superpower like Russia and America. That's just the way the global economy works now. That you have to exist in the economy as an equal. Because it is impossible to exist in the global economy as a socialist nation or a communist nation.
Yep.
And as long as you keep the ideals of Marxism within your discussion and your discourse and the ideology of the nation, you're on the right path.
Yeah. And, I think that hopefully leading into the future, China's ability to react to situations and their relationships with other countries and foreign nations will be a lot better than, what we're seeing today with America.
Yeah. As long as they're not fucking dengas.
Yeah.
Xi Jinping's really trying to bring China away from that, and he's trying to really realize Mao's policy of self-reliance, right?
Yeah. And, it would be a lot better. Well, anything honestly would be better. He even
quoted Deng in like a speech a few years ago, like, the time of biding our time is over. It's time to realize China as itself and fully realize self-reliance.
Yeah.
So I hope Xi Jinping can do this, but it's not my problem. It's the problem of the Chinese Communist Party. I'm an American communist, so my focus is lying with America, not China.
That's fair, man.
China's path to socialism is its own path, not an American path.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every single country needs to figure out their own version of Marxism that works for them. Hopefully, though, you can really see the difference between China and America, though, especially in international affairs. Especially, the news today of
speaking of self-determination.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to have somewhere to focus your bitterness and your rage, don't look at China. Look at fucking Iraq.
Yeah. I mean, oh my God. America's reaction to Iraq is just possibly just juvenile. I mean, Iraq passes.
With juvenile, it's blatantly imperialist.
And sociopathic.
It's a fascist empire. Like,
yeah.
It's so overt now. Like, how can anyone support the military?
Yeah.
You deserve to get your legs blown off at this point.
So for those of you who don't know, Iraq's government, which is a wide-ranging coalition of different ethnic groups and religious groups, basically unanimously decided, it literally unanimously voted to kick out the U.S. military in Iraq after the drone striking of Soleimani. And America just released their response, which basically amounted to, no, we refuse to leave. And if you try to make us leave, we will cripple your country with economic sanctions. And then we will still not leave. I mean, that's just... I mean, can you believe that shit? This is the equivalent...
Well, 2 million people marched in Baghdad to rally against American occupation. It is literally not even like our own conception of an illegal occupation with a puppet government, but it is a de facto and a de jure puppet de jure occupation.
Yeah.
Like it is literally illegal for us to be there under international law and Iraqi law.
Yeah, it's literally illegal. But you know what? Let's simplify it. Let's ignore all the complicated issues.
Give me another beer before I start talking about
let's
Iraq.
simplify this down. Okay. I like, when I'm talking to my students, I like to use analogies and metaphors to sort of simplify the idea down for them.
Yeah, I just like eating kids over their head. This is why I'm an anti-vaxxer, because I just fucking hate kids.
But, okay, so the analogy I would like to use in this scenario is like, involving America, Iraq, and Iran, is that, Iraq is like a homeowner. Iran would be your neighbor. In this case, the next door neighbor who lives down the street, who lives next to you on the same street. And America would be like
A robber.
No, not even a robber. It's not quite that bad. No, it's like somebody who lives in the next town over, right? Mm-hmm. A person. And one day you have an issue with, let's say, like a mice or a termite infestation, right? And America decides, the person who lives outside of your town decides that, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go into your house and I'm going to fix your problem for you.
And then shoot your neighbor.
For free. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release all these mice inside of your house for 18 years to hunt down the termites. So you're like, okay, sure. I guess that could work. So they do that. But now you have a mice infestation. So they're like, okay, don't worry. I've got these super bed bugs that will kill all the mice for you. To fix your mice situation. You're like, okay, sure, fine, whatever. They do that. Now you have a bed bug infestation. They're like, okay, don't worry. I'm going to drill holes in your house and set fire to it to fix your situation. And then eventually you're like, no, this is too much. My next door neighbor has a solution. And they're trying to do stuff with you and with me to try and fix my house situation that with the problem that you've caused now. Mm-hmm. And then the person goes, no, you can't. America goes, no, you can't do that. In fact, I will kill your neighbor. I will kill your neighbor because I will fix the situation. And if you try to kick me out of your house now, I am going to make sure that you are not allowed to leave your house, and I will make sure that you can't buy groceries and you won't be able to go to your job because I am not leaving. Can't make me leave.
No.
My oil.
Yeah. It's mine.
Also,
but more simply, I really take it as you're living at home. Someone comes in and says, all of your fucking shit is mine, and they shoot your neighbor. What are you supposed to do? Do you shoot them?
I guess I have to, right? I have to defend my house.
Oh, yeah. If they're not allowed in your house, right? This is castle law, right? Or whatever Florida has.
Some libertarian bullshit law, yeah.
Yeah. So under the current American ideology, it is legal to shoot troops because they are in Iraq illegally. And rightfully so. Oh, yeah. Beer too?
Beer me, bro.
You come horizontal and you leave. No, you come vertical and you leave horizontal. I love that. The T-pose. I'm going to put in the header, American soldier doing a T-pose like this, and then American soldier doing a T-pose.
Perfect.
But, yeah. So, I mean, it's just overt. We're just it's overt imperialism. Like there's no other way to put it.
Yeah, I mean,
And
at
I
least
saw on Twitter like no one really talking about this. They're all just bickering about Chinese socialism. But
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just
at least on
shocking
left
though.
Twitter,
It
cancer.
kind of it's hard to, at least in 2002 when we invaded Iraq, we had the plausible deniability of saying like, oh, Saddam Hussein is a dictator and he has weapons of mass destruction. But at this point, Iraq is literally telling us to leave.
Yeah.
They don't want us here anymore. They want us out of their country, and we are just saying, no, I'm not going to leave your country. I'm going to keep my military here, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. That's textbook imperialism.
yeah, and to talk about like a little more in depth with Iraqi news and politics, Muqtada al-Sadr, my homeboy, the biggest epic gamer of the Middle East. Well, he put out a statement that.
Yo, check out this head of beer.
Oh,
though.
that is a nice head of beer. That's nice and
It's like-
fluffy. Oh, we gotta put that video up. If you like, that's a nice head of beer.
All right, go on.
But yeah, he stressed foremost avoiding war, occupation, corruption, and foreign interference in Iraq. He is a Iraqi nationalist hero. Bringing back the ideals of Nasser, sort of, and Arab nationalism, and forming a coalition of Arab nationalists and Iraqi communists and Iraqi nationalists. But yeah, that's in one of our past episodes. I think it was 6. Yeah, episode 6. We were talking about Muqtada al-Sadr. He's my homeboy. I talked with him on the reg. But yeah, he said specifically, quote, all American military bases in Iraq should close. The offices of American security firms should be shut. Iraqi airspace should be closed on military and spy planes of occupiers. That's including Iran. All security treaties with occupiers should be abolished since they were signed when Iraq was occupied, so they don't have any value. So now that Iraq is an independent, sovereign nation, the treaties signed under the Iraqi occupation are null and void. Trump should not look at Iraqis from the top. Otherwise, we treat him the same way, treating Iraqis as their own independent nation and as their own equals on the playing ground of international politics. In case of occupiers not leaving Iraq, the neighbors don't have the right to interfere the way we treat the occupiers, or the right to interfere with the way we treat the occupiers. So he's calling out Iran for influencing Iraqi politics with the PMF, which we talked about in episode 6. Or you can also Google that and learn a little bit about Iraqi
Educate
politics.
yourself.
Yeah. If you don't already know, you fucking scrubs. But the number 7. If these articles take place, we won't treat USA like occupiers. Otherwise, they are the enemy of Iraq. And Muqtada al-Sadr is arguably the most influential political figure in Iraq. He currently is the leader of the largest coalition in parliament. He is the leader of a 5 million man strong movement in Sadr City, the city named after him, and it was one of the epicenters of the insurrection against America after the occupation and after the ousting of Saddam Hussein. And Muqtada al-Sadr is arguably the leader of the current Iraqi nationalist movement and the current leader of Iraq itself, the ideological leader, to say. And so his demands really just put forward Iraq's independence from American and Iranian hegemony.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm curious to see where this leads to. Well,
it's
not
going
curious.
to lead,
I'm anxious to see where this leads to.
It's going to be a bloodbath. I mean, this is probably it's going to be more bloodshed than the past 10 years of American occupation.
I think the most important question now, though, is: are we going to be, mature adults and leave the country according to their wishes, or are we going to be a bunch of soy cuck boys
I think,
and refuse to leave like a petulant child?
Well, look, I think a real question to ask is: what are all the internationalists, socialists, and American leftists going to do about this? Bitch on Facebook or enact real change and build a real movement against American imperialism. So what are you guys going to do about it? What are we going to do about this? Now, I'm not advocating violence, but, like, shit's got to change, All right.
The world is changing. I mean, the world is changing. While posting on the internet and, shit posting and putting political memes on Facebook are all important things because they spread awareness. At the end of the day, real life awaits you. Are you going to be boots on the ground, actually doing activism work?
Are you going to engage in the revolution?
Engage in the revolution, or are you going to just be a passive shit poster? And that's a question that I think we should ask all of our followers.
And all of our peers and all of our contemporaries and all of our people, all the people that we look up to, is what is to be done?
What is to be done? And I think, honestly, that's a good place to put up our podcast, right? The world is changing, and, what will you do? Which side are you on?
So knowing our current conditions, knowing the way the world is going, and the collapse of American hegemony and the collapse of the ecosystem ahead of us, what is your prerogative? Where are you going? What are you going to do?
Okay. Well, I think that about wraps up our podcast, though.
It does. When we have to celebrate Chinese New Year with all of our friends. So I hope you guys have a great night and happy Chinese New Year.
Yep. Make sure to have some dumplings, some hand-pulled noodles, and some Chinese mooncakes. I know, the mooncakes are really only for the Autumn Harvest Festival, but I still like to eat them for the Chinese New Year. So to all of our followers, the East is red, just like Mao Zedong thought. And so, 新年快乐，万事如意，恭喜发财. Thank you. Have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
Freedom of speech, motherfucker. Okay. Something for the kids. Step in the club smoothly with the L in my hand. Bitches know that I'm a freak, like the Elephant Man. Intelligent plans, fuck a record deal. I want development land with my benevolent clan. And that's the reason that I only trust my fam. 40,000 records sold, 400 grand. Fuck a middleman, I won't pay anyone else. I'll bootleg it and sell it to the streets myself. I'd rather be that than signed and stuck on a shelf. And because of this, executives try to diss me. Racism frozen in time like Walt Disney. And now they say they want to get me signed to the majors. If I switch up my politics and change my behavior, trying to tell me what the rhyme about over the beat. Bitch niggas that never spent a day in the street. But I repeat that, nobody can hold my reins. I put the truth on tracks, nigga, simple and plain.
I got no strings, so I have fun. I'm not tied up to anyone. Take that string, but you can see there are no strings on me.
I guess to America, I'm a disaster. A slave that was destined to own his masters. Independent in every single sense of the word. I say what I want, you fucking little sensitive herb. This is America. Thought we had freedom of speech, but now you wanna try to control the way that I speak. And O'Reilly, you think you a patriot? Yeah, right. You ain't nothing but a motherfucking racist bitch. Full of hatred, pressing a button, trying to eject me. But I don't got no motherfucking deal with Pepsi. No corporate sponsor telling me what to do. Asking me to tone it down during the interview. Trying to minimize the issue, but I'm keeping it large. I love the place I live, but I hate the people in charge. Speaking is hard when you got strings attached, so I'ma say it for you, cause I don't got none of that. And if you didn't understand what I spit at your brain, hey yo son, let this little nigga explain.
I got no strings, so I have fun. I'm not tied up to anyone. Take that string, but you can see there are no strings on me.
Come on, son, y'all niggas know the way that I do. ImmortalTechnique.com live for you. And I know sometimes it be making you nervous, the way I smash puppet rappers that belong in a circus. You motherfuckers just can't compare. Looking for a fan base that's no longer there. I know that you're scared and you're hiding up in the cut, but this is freedom of speech, nigga. Tell them what's up. Word, nigga. Fuck John Ashcroft. Nigga, fuck Fox News. Fuck those snake-ass bitches trying to manipulate your opinion, telling you what to think. Word the fuck up, nigga. Like we invaded niggas, cause we wanna free them. You racist motherfucker. You don't give a shit about those people. You can suck my dick. Relax, Tech, relax. Another rum and coke at the bar, nigga. It's my day off. Word up. Fuck. For the kids. For the kids.
Yo, real fake the middle in that head and hate that head and hate that hey ha hate that bad ha hey what yeah.